Okay, so schedule. You guys have, like I said, you started off with a brutal. Listen, man, I don't know if you were mad at your guys last year, what was going on, but you started out with Iowa, Wisconsin, and Penn State in the same weekend.
Yes.
Well, I was like, Jim lost his mind? What's going on?
Going into the year, we had one of the best groups returning that we've had in a long time. We had Monica, who was ranked as a freshman. We had Canal back. We had Billy Bolio, who was a pretty good heavyweight. We had Barrero, who was an overtime away from going to the national tournament. We had we had 6 guys that were no longer in our lineup that we thought we'd have going into the year. It's one of those years, I've never had it as a coach, but it happened to me. A lot of injuries, a lot of things that happened, and at the end of the day, you just gotta, it was a great event for our community. It was a great event for the wrestling world in Northeast Ohio. We sold out the field house, which was an incredible environment. And people don't realize is that we're trying to make as much. I fundraise about 80% of my operating budget. So you're talking about $95,000 I have to fundraise a year. We brought in right around 22 that one Friday, and we ended up getting paid to go to Penn State and making it worth our while to go to Penn State and then them beating the crap out of us. But financially, it was a great weekend for Kent State Wrestling because we made a lot of money towards our overall operating budget, which is what we need to do.
Okay, so this year you guys, you have Oklahoma coming to town.
Oklahoma, Michigan State.
Sparty's coming to town.
Yep.
Who else? What else is highlighting the Kent State schedule for 2019?
Well, we're going to right off the bat. We're wrestling Edinburgh in a conference meet with some other teams the first week.
When's that? Is that here?
It's November 2nd. It's at home.
It's here?
Yep. It's kind of
I'll have
our
to
first
pop in
conference.
for that one.
Yep. And then we're going the next weekend. We go to the Appy State tournament, which is about 8 tournaments, which is another really good tournament. I think West Virginia's there. I want to say there's 2 Big Ten teams there. It's one of those small little tournaments to help you try to get qualifiers. We come back, we wrestle Michigan State and Oklahoma. The following weekend we go to Navy, which I saw the Navy lineup. It's as tough a tournament that we've ever been to as
Navy
far
Classics,
as Navy Classics.
Yeah, it's a real good tournament.
It's gotten harder. More teams are coming to it. Just more opportunities for our guys. And then we end up going to the Vegas tournament, which, depending on when our finals are, we aren't always allowed to go to it. This year we were allowed to go to it. We're headed to Virginia Duels again. And then one of the issues that you have when you have a bigger conference is the whole second half of the season is all conference matches, which is good because you have some home and away matches that are kind of set up for years to come. But ultimately, if you aren't ranked at that point and your conference guys aren't ranked, it's hard to get into the rankings. That's the first thing. Second thing is if you are ranked and you get upset by a guy in the conference, it's almost like the conference suffers from it. So, as a conference, we all got to hopefully go into our conference duels being ranked and having guys ranked.
Okay, so is it going to go, what are the crossovers as far as old members and EWL members? Or is it going traditional to start, or you're going to wrestle Edinburgh? How many of those EWL member schools are you going to wrestle? And then do you wrestle Missouri? Do you wrestle the original members? How does that work?
Well,
you know
first
what I mean?
of all, Old Dominion went from the west to the east, so they're now with all the EWL schools.
Okay.
So Old Dominion's over
that
there.
That makes sense budget-wise.
Yes. Cleveland State, though, is in the west with us because they're right here with all of us.
Yeah.
So now Cleveland State's in the west, Old Dominion's with all the EWL schools.
And is Buffalo?
They're still with the west. It's the traditional west and east, except for Cleveland State and Old Dominion. They're making the change.
They're kind of swapping.
Because of location.
Okay.
We are wrestling everybody in the west next year. We have to. That's non-negotiable.
Okay.
As far as the crossovers, next year we're wrestling Clarion and Edinburgh. We still haven't come up with the exact way how we're going to do it moving forward. We're talking about doing either a preseason event or doing some at the end of the year, like a championship. Our goal is to get 2 to 3 crossover matches during the year some way or another. I think, like I said, because of our, in our coaches meetings we talked with some of the concerns of not wrestling too many conference matches because, once again, if you're not ranked and you're wrestling an unranked guy, you're not going to get ranked. So we got to be able to give, like I said, if I have to wrestle a lot of crossovers, I can't wrestle Iowa, I can't wrestle Penn State, I can't wrestle the schedule that I have in the past. And part of the success that we've had as Kent State is because I went out and tried to fight in the toughest competition I could. So we have to be able to still do that as a program without hurting our conference. That was the goal in our coaches meeting we had this spring or fall.
Is there any Buckeyes in the schedule? Is that duel going to happen?
Not this year. It's not. I think that it just hasn't worked out. We had a really, really good event here. We called it the
Thanksgiving Throwdown.
It was a great event.
Kyle Snyder showed up,
yes.
And the people came out.
I think the next year we went to their place and did it. We were supposed to go to Cleveland State the following to do it, and Ohio State had some scheduling conflicts, and we just haven't got it back on the schedule. I'm one of those guys that I have no problem wrestling anybody. If I'm going there and you're not coming back, I'm expecting to pay our program.
Wisconsin. You're going to Wisconsin this year.
Yep, they came here last year. We're going there.
I like that.
Yeah,
Couldn't get Iowa? Couldn't get into Carver Hawkeye?
At some point, we'll go back there. I promised them I would go back there. Our schedule was kind of set because we knew we were going to have some crossovers. I knew I had to go to Wisconsin, so there were some things that we couldn't do. The plan, like I said, if I called up Iowa and told them I'm coming, they'd be like, sure, come in. You can open up with us again. So I'm sure that'll happen at some point. Right now, we're just, like I said, I got a younger team. I can't do what I did to my guys last year, this year. I had to make sure I changed some things, give our guys a little more success, or try to give them a little more success to hopefully have success long run during the year.